Welcome back to Bookshelf Brilliance, the podcast where timeless knowledge meets modern insight. I'm your host, Vincent Monteleone, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us. As you know by now, we're going chapter by chapter through Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, with bite-sized episodes that help you sprint to the finish line. Today, we'll be focusing on Part 2, Chapter 2, A Simple Way to Make a Good First Impression. As a reminder, Part 2 focuses on the 6 ways to make people like you. Before we jump into today's episode, make sure to subscribe wherever it is that you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're not already, follow us on Instagram at bookshelf_brilliance to stay updated between shows. Now, without further ado, let's get started with another episode of Bookshelf Brilliance. You don't have to read any books to understand that you only get one shot at a first impression. It's right there in the name, right? You're never going to meet someone again for the first time. You only have one shot, one opportunity. And I realize now how it sounds like I'm about to start singing Lose Yourself by Eminem. I'm not going to do that, so you don't have to take your AirPods out. But Carnegie really wants us to understand how important the expression on our face is, as that is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. So ditch the bitch face and rock a smile, because you only get one chance at a first impression. A first impression is so important. We know how we've judged people, and maybe you'll come around, but I think we lean more disproportionately on that first impression than the next few that come after that. I learned this the hard way in my day job. In my role, a lot of times I need to bring new software to people that don't want new software. They're busy and they like the way that they're doing things. They don't want to learn something new. People are much more open to the idea of learning how to do Netflix or shop on Amazon in their personal life, but when it comes to their day job, they oftentimes just want to stay with the status quo. Not everybody, and people are changing more with the times. They understand this, but they're still always hesitant and skeptical of the new software, the new thing. And I've learned, again, I learned this lesson the hard way, is that you have to nail your first impression when you are bringing somebody a new software, a new app, anything that you have developed for them that's going to change the way that they interact with something, has to knock it out of the park, or they're going to say, this is a waste of my time, get out of my face, I'm super busy, don't put time on my calendar to learn this new thing. One of the practical lessons that I've taken from going live too soon with the new software that wasn't ready to be brought out to the masses is that sometimes you need to delay go live, even though that's not a good message to bring to the executives who are sponsoring your project, because yes, it is a roadblock, it is a hurdle, it is not what you planned for in the immediate, but in the long run, that is going to make the success of this new software. You never want to bring something out too soon. And, anybody who's gotten the couple versions of the iPhones when they came out maybe a little too soon and there was bugs and patches that they had to put out, think about how frustrating that was for you as a first adopter and how regretful that made you seem, especially when the iPhone cost you a pretty penny to get. So if you don't knock that first impression out of the box when you're trying to change behaviors, you lost them, right? It's very hard to get them back. So incurring more expense and delaying a go live or having to pay for 2 systems, for example, is a small price to pay than to lose your user base. Because if they lose trust in you and in whatever you're trying to bring to them, they'll never forgive you. And maybe never is a strong word, but it will take you so much longer to earn back that trust and to get them to have faith in the new system that you're trying to get them to adopt. Now, that's a pretty specific example, but I think it highlights how important a first impression is. And we are constantly making first impressions with people we come in contact with on a daily basis. You're always meeting new people. If you're in the corporate world, you need to network, right? You have to work across the matrix effectively. If you're in a sales job, right, you need people to trust you so they can, you can sell them your product, or they can feel like they want to do business with you. If you go on an interview, right, your first impression to that manager or that hiring manager, that team, maybe it's a panel, is very important, because they are picking somebody in that instance that they need to hang out with. They hire you, they're forcing themselves to hang out with you. And if you got to the point where you're getting an interview, odds are you are competing with smart people who are very qualified for that role. So what's your differentiator? Be the person that they would want to have a beer with. And how do you do that? When you come in contact with people, smile. We think of, bitch face has been, super popular. She has bitch face, so she wears that, or resting, I see it on people's shirts when they go to the beach now, resting beach face, right? There's a little play on words of that. You may be a sweetheart deep down, but they're not going to get past that hard exterior. So you need to start by just smiling, by being endearing. Let's learn from our four-legged companions, right, that we talked about in last episode. Why do they make such good first impressions, puppies, on people, and get taken home from pet stores? How about a baby? You ever have a rough day and, maybe you're, the subway's delayed and there's a little kid sitting across from you that just starts smiling at you? Doesn't that really change your mood? So we need to change the moods of people by outwardly projecting that, right? And a smile can easily do that. People can even tell if you're smiling or not through just your voice. So if you're on a Teams call and nobody's on video, people can tell when you're smiling while you're speaking, right? You can tell my sincerity through this podcast. And the simple smile goes a long way into changing that impression you make on people. We all know actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, "I like you. I'm happy to see you. I'm glad to be here." It radiates positivity that people want to be around. Not a phony grin. We all can tell when somebody's fake smiling. This smile needs to come from within. Charles Schwab, who we've spoken about a lot recently, he believes his smile is what made him $1 million man. If you radiate good vibes like Schwab, they naturally come back to you. A smile is an action that can change your feelings. So turn that frown upside down and just see how much better your day gets, how you improve your bad mood. Shakespeare writes, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." And our buddy Honest Abe Lincoln, who's, going to be quoted a lot in this book, he said, "Most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be." So take that action. Put a smile on your face. It costs nothing, but creates much. It enriches those who receive, without impoverishing those who give. It happens in a flash, and the memory of it sometimes lasts forever. None are so rich they can get along without it, and none so poor but are richer for its benefits. It creates happiness in the home, fosters goodwill in a business, and is the countersign of friends. It is rest to the weary, daylight to the discouraged, sunshine to the sad, and nature's best antidote for trouble. Yet it cannot be bought, begged, borrowed, or stolen, for it is something that is no earthly good to anybody till it is given away. Remember, Principle 2, Part 2. Simple one here, guys. Smile. Let us birdie this putt. In a world where words often fail, a smile speaks 1,000 languages. It's a universal invitation. A smile helps us preserve a right mental attitude, which in turn makes us somebody other people want to be around. Success comes with getting people to your side. It's us who get deals done. It's feelings that make people make decisions, not spreadsheets, not PowerPoint slides. Have fun with all that you do, and wear your smile to show others that they're going to want to come along for this ride with you. Grin like your mom did when you rode a two-wheeler for the first time. Smile like you did when the sound of the ball hitting the bat sounded like a beautiful melody, and it kept going over the outfielder's head and over the fence. Show them pearly whites like you just got down on one knee and she said yes. Remember, a genuine smile is a sunbeam that melts the icy barriers of indifference, forging connections that last a lifetime. A simple way to make a good first impression. Principle 2. Smile. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making those genuine connections. Thank you for hanging out with us here at Bookshelf Brilliance. As a reminder, I'm your host, Vincent Monteleone. Follow us on Instagram at bookshelf_brilliance. Email us at bookshelfbrilliancevm@gmail.com. And if you haven't already subscribed, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. I can't wait till next time. See you there.